Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing today? All right, there's a few things that I want to talk about, okay? And before I do, get a hold of Trish. Her link is always in the description box below. Okay, we have a newsletter that's going to start going out September 1st. Okay, some really interesting stuff is going out. I can guarantee you that. With Trish, you know her. She's an international banker, day trader. You know, she's going to give you that advice and that information on the finances in the financial world that you're not going to get anywhere else. You know what I mean? She'll give you the tips. She'll give you the tricks. She'll give you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, and with me, you're going to get the real stuff. Anyway, I got to make you laugh. So, all right. So, this is what concerns me. Okay, well, there's two things that concern me. Hang on. Oh, boy. That was Sean. He's being sent home. Yeah, a few of the officers. Okay. One of the officers' wives, who's a nurse, is sick. So that officer had to stay home. So, because, you know, exposure. Anyway, so a few of the other officers are being sent home due to exposure, and Sean is one of them. So Sean had to stop and get tested. He said he got the cheek swab one done. He said he feels fine. So, but then again, he takes all the same stuff that I take. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway. All right. So, this is the first thing that I'm going to be talking about. Okay. Can you see that? Experts warn of Al-Qaeda attacks on U.S. soil as global terror threat reaches a 20-year high. Well, we all know what the 20-year high is, right? Because this year is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. So the potato administration ordered Afghanistan withdrawal, right? And we knew that. And subsequent Taliban takeover has increased the global terror threat to its highest point in 2 decades. And without U.S. intelligence operatives in the region, an Al-Qaeda 9/11 style attack may be imminent, experts warn. And that is the one thing that a few of you have asked me. Do you think we're going to have another 9/11 style attack? I don't know. Nobody knows. But, you know, they're saying it in this article, but this could just be, you know, I don't want to say fear tactic. This is their op-ed, you know, this is their opinion piece. This is their, you know, whatever. This is what somebody is saying. So Dr. Tom Copeland, he's an expert in intelligence failures and mass casualty terrorist attacks and director of research at the Centennial Institute, told Fox News on Thursday that the fall of the Afghan government will likely coincide with the 20th anniversary. Moreover, Copeland warned the United States' complete withdrawal could presage another attack of that nature on U.S. soil. See, that right there, I don't know. I don't know if that's fear mongering or what that is. I mean, he's just saying that. Maybe he's saying that so we're prepared, like in the back of our minds, like we're having that in the back of our minds. And we're saying, okay, this could happen. We don't want it to ever happen because too many lives. I mean, I don't want it to ever happen again. Never, ever do I ever want that to ever happen again. So then he goes on to say, having an entire country as a safe haven will give Al Qaeda more physical space, more breathing space to reconstitute and go back to planning major events. So I think the U.S. withdrawal itself is a large part of that threat. This guy, I don't know. So with the country under complete Taliban control, Al Qaeda is expected to set up shop and fully resume operations, making terror attacks on the West an ever-present national security concern. The fear, Copeland said, is that for the first time in nearly 20 years, the U.S. will be blind on the ground with the absence of an embassy, military bases, and CIA station based in the region. Even though we may be better organized to defend the homeland than we were in 2001, this withdrawal is going to leave us with a much more limited window into what the terrorists are doing inside Afghanistan. On Friday, Potato appeared to downplay the threat of Al Qaeda in Afghanistan, only to be later corrected by the Pentagon. And let's put this into perspective here. This is what Potato is saying right now, okay? This is what he said during the press conference on Friday, defending the decision to withdraw from Afghanistan. What interest do we have in Afghanistan at this point with Al Qaeda gone? Well, they're not gone. They just amped up their shite, right? Roughly an hour later, Fox News national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin questioned Defense Department Press Secretary John Kirby on Potato's statement. And Griffin asked Kirby for an estimate on how many Al Qaeda operatives were currently in Afghanistan, and Kirby was not able to give her a specific number. And that would be kind of hard to do. So I haven't seen an estimate on that, Kirby said. Okay, I don't know if we have an exact estimate. It's kind of hard to say, this is how many there is to a T. You can't. You can't. You don't have military intelligence estimates about how many Al Qaeda remain in Afghanistan, Griffin said. We know that Al Qaeda is a presence as well as ISIS in Afghanistan. And we've talked about that for quite some time. We do not believe it is exorbitantly high, but we don't have an exact figure for you, as I think you might understand. Exactly. I understand exactly where he's coming from. So military historian and Fox News contributor Victor Davis Hansen believes Copeland's assessment of an impending attack on the West may very well be correct. The next 3.5 years, I think, will be our most dangerous since the 1950s of the Cold War. Jihadists now have a centrally located haven that has a proven record of successfully launching anti-Western terrorist operations. The Taliban are far more jubilant now than in the past, given the climatic defeat of the entire NATO coalition. And finally, they feel they're no longer exist in the U.S. deterrence. Iran, China, and Russia will, in the next year, likely become far more adventurous in our experience on the expectation that the Potato administration, the woke Pentagon, and the politicized intelligence agencies either cannot or will not deter them. That encourages the Taliban, who feel that the U.S. will be pressed simultaneously by several enemies and won't dare confront them. So wow. So this, if he stays in office, if they don't 25 him, these are going to be these next 3.5 years are going to be the most dangerous for this country. Let that sink in. And for those of us that have military in our families, this is really gonna. Wow. Paul D. Miller served in Afghanistan for first in the military, then as a CIA operative, before he was tapped as director of the Afghanistan desk at the National Security Council during the Bush and Obama administrations. Asked about the U.S. national security threat expressed by Copeland and Hansen during the Fox News interview on Thursday, Miller said plainly, "I'm confident saying that the U.S. is at higher risk of international terrorism today than any point in the last 20 years. What upsets him the most," he said, "is that this was an avoidable catastrophe. It was a man-made disaster." The president continues to insist that this was unavoidable. It was inevitable. The war has already been lost. There was no other way out. Could not have been, would have the chaos. All of this is false, and everyone paid responsibility for the consequences of his choice to withdraw. Miller noted that the government in Afghanistan is the same one that harbored al-Qaeda 20 years ago. I'll leave this link in the description box below. There's one more thing that I want to discuss. Okay. Now this is to do with Orlando and Central Florida, okay? But this is also, this is going to reach everywhere else, I believe, okay? Now, the city of Orlando is asking residents to reduce their water consumption. Now, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer and the Orlando Utilities Commission, or OUC, held a news conference asking residents to stop watering their lawns and washing their cars for at least a week. Mayor Dyer said Friday that water usage needs to be cut back because of the recent surge. And OUC treats the city's water with liquid oxygen, and supplies that ordinarily go toward water treatment have been diverted to hospitals. It's another result that happens when the residents don't get the arm candy. So this is just your heads up. Don't get the arm candy. No water for you. The city-owned utility typically goes through 10 trucks of liquid oxygen a week, but its supplier recently said that it could be cut back to 5 to 7 trucks a week to accommodate hospitals. Officials said they believe if water consumption doesn't change, water treatment could hit a critical point in a week. If that happens, it could mean possible water boil notice could be put into place. According to OUC, lawn and landscaping irrigation accounts for 40% of water use in Central Florida. And suspending those practices is the most critical way to reduce water consumption. Limit your watering your lawn and your landscaping. Limit pressure washing. washing your car, washing full loads in the dishwasher and the clothes washer, taking shorter showers, turn off your water while brushing your teeth and shaving, recycle water rather than pouring it down the drain. For instance, use water from your fish tank or your dog's water bowl for watering your plants. Repair leaky faucets and toilets. Install water saver flush valves in your toilets. Install low flow shower heads and use the garbage disposal sparingly. The city is already taking action to reduce water at places like parks and baseball fields. So, that's all for this video, guys. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Bye. I love you.